Hey, whew. So, this one is um going to be a very vulnerable video for me. This is the first time I have shared this story publicly. Only the very close people to me know. And I probably should have bought some tissue in here because it's a strong possibility that I might shed a couple tears, but I'm gonna try to keep it together. So those of you pray for me, pray for me while I deliver this story. So yeah. I'm sure you've seen the title. That's probably why you clicked on this. Because you probably like, wait, what? Yeah, that's the same way I was. Um, so I'm just going to just start, and I'm going to let the Lord have his way. I don't know how long this is going to be. um I'm just going to let the Lord have his way, and I'm just going to tell my story. And my prayer is that if anybody sees this video and has dealt with or feel like they had the same similar experience, know that you are not alone. And it is witchcraft, excuse me, is very, very 1 trillion% real. And don't let nobody tell you otherwise, okay? Right. So, for those of you who do not know me yet, my name is Tara Walker, um, and this is my story. So, I am 45 years old. I turned 45 in May, um, and my husband and I have been married now for 4 years. As of this past August 1st, we celebrated our 4-year wedding anniversary, and that is actually the same day on our anniversary that we found out we were pregnant for the first time. This was also my first pregnancy, period. I have never been pregnant before. I thought I was before, but it wasn't positive. And so you can imagine, well, what happened was, so I'm never late, never to that degree. If I am 1, 2 days, maybe, at the most, but I was probably, I think I was at least a week or so late by the time, um, the day that I tested. And one of the reasons why I hesitated is because I'm like, sure a lot of you women know, sometimes you be a little bit late and then you test and it's negative. And so that happened to me actually a few months ago, where I was more than a couple days late and I tested, but it was negative. So I didn't want to, you know how it is, get your hopes high, whatever. So I just kept letting days go by. But then that day, I was actually sitting right here in my office, and then I was talking to the Lord, and then I was going over in my head. I was like, thinking of my last day of my cycle, looking in my phone, because I always record it, but, put down in my phone my last day of my cycle. And I was like, I really am significantly late. Maybe I should test. And then I was like, oh, that would be so amazing if I'm pregnant and I get to tell my husband on our anniversary. Um, this was a Thursday, right? August 1st, 2024. This was a Thursday. My husband was home during the day because he works at night. So he was in the bedroom when I was in here talking to God about it. And then I felt the Holy Spirit say, go ahead and test. So I tested, and I had only one left because, no, wait, I had two. I had one that actually expired, and I didn't know it until I took it after the first one. The first one was fine. The first one was the good test, and then I test another one because, remember, I said I had just did a few months before, and 2 tests come in a pack. And so I had already used one out of that pack. So I had one that somebody gave me a couple years ago. But it had, I guess, apparently expired because it didn't read the results right. But anyway, nonetheless, the first one had the results and it said pregnant, right? And I kind of like stared in disbelief because, again, first pregnancy ever. And I was just like, but I knew it had to be true because, like I said, I'm never that late. I'm never that late. And so, I got the test. I read it in the bathroom, but then I brought it in here. My husband was still in the bedroom watching TV, and I said, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna surprise him because we were supposed to be going out for our lunch date, our anniversary lunch date, because he had to work that night. So I said I'll surprise him on a lunch day. So I hid the test in my purse and everything. Went in there all happy and giddy and everything, and hugged him and that, and he ain't even pick up on it with it because I'm pretty much usually always happy and giddy, and he and I both. My husband is a clown. He is very funny. Truth be told, a lot of people don't know that because he's an introvert. So people that meet him, they don't know that he has the personality that he has unless you get to know him. But he is a clown, and I tell you, I be in here in stitches. I be cracking up. But anyway, so we went to our lunch, and I surprised them. I recorded it, everything. I still have everything. um we ran into there was two older ladies sitting across from us, and I asked them could they take our picture, so we can have a memorable picture for that day and everything. Oh, and I have him recorded and everything too. He was in disbelief too. He was just like, what? He just looked at me. He was like, for real? Because it's been 4 years, right? That we have been, actively trying. But here's a little background. Um, with that, when we first got married, I used to, um, what do they, test your hormone levels and when you ovulating and all of that type of stuff. And then the Holy Spirit whispered to me. He said, "I want to surprise you. Stop doing all of that. Just, do what you're supposed to do that I created y'all to do. Is be fruitful and multiply. Have fun. You know what I'm saying? Just be married and do what married people do. Stop trying to count and calculate and stuff and all of that type of stuff. Because he told me when you keep doing that and then you test and it's negative, it's gonna put you in depression. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get weary and stuff. And he didn't want me to start losing my faith and disbelief because it was the word of the Lord was given to me 14 years ago. 14 years ago, January 2010 to be exact. That I would conceive, and then a person, excuse me, the person, may she rest in peace. I wish she was still living. The woman of God, the prophetess that prophesied over me, um, told us. I was actually married to my ex husband at the time. That's another story that I have to, because that'll make this video real long. But the word was for me, and she told me how many she saw. There was certain directions given and everything. So I had been holding on to this word, right? All through, after the divorce and everything with him and all of that, right? Me realizing that now that the prophecy wasn't for that husband, it was for this husband right here. Again, I have to do another video for that another time. So you got to understand this. I've been holding on to this word from the Lord for years now. So you should really understand now how excited I was that the prophecy finally came to pass, right? So, like I said, we were excited. We saw the two older ladies in the restaurant. They took our picture. He stopped me by the store so I can get another test because, typically we like to do more than one test to be sure. I got home, took that test. It was positive. So called the doctors right away. My husband and I was sitting right there on the couch. He said, call the doctor now. I said, okay. So called the doctor, made our appointment. The appointment was for August 27th, right? Because they have to calculate it due to your last menstrual cycle. And so we went on about our business. We already know the name. God told us the name. He told us the name of the baby in 2019, right? The firstborn child in 2019. He already told us the name. So we already knew the name and everything. So we just excited, going on about our business. Time goes on, 2 days goes on, and I downloaded the app, the baby tracker app, and was reading the little tips and everything every day. Just excited. Told two of our at the time two, the only two friends that I had at the time, that had been praying and believing to God for to praying and believing with us for that, for the pregnancy. We told them, um, and they were super excited and everything. We had not told our families yet because Anthony preferred to tell them after we had the first appointment, which is the sonogram and everything, which would have been the 27th. So I agreed, said okay, but those two knew, right? One of my sisters in Christ, at the time, who still is my sister in Christ, she had been that month before giving me all types of stuff that the Lord was telling her to give me about um the pregnancy, even before I knew I was pregnant. The Lord had told her to tell me to I was taking prenatal pills at one point, but I had stopped, get back on the prenatal pills. It was all kinds of stuff that the Lord was dropping to her to tell me during her prayer time. And I was receiving it. So when we told her, she was, man, you're talking about excited. And that's what you want when you give a pregnancy announcement, especially the first time you ever been pregnant. You want the people who are in your corner to celebrate with you. You know what I'm saying? The people who have been believing God and praying with you and for you. You want them people, okay? Them type of people. So that's why we didn't tell nobody else but those two, because yeah, I'm just gonna leave that at that. Figure that out. So so again, so time went on. Y'all forgive me too. I'm a little bit nervous because again, this is my first time giving this story publicly. So just bear with me. Um, yeah, so time went on. Now remember, I found out on August 1st, the day of our anniversary, 2024. My last day of my cycle was June 30th, 2024. So clearly I'm pregnant for a month, already. And so like I said, some time went on, and then I noticed, remember I said I'm reading the apps and starting googling things of that nature, and um I had breast pain, but that I had breast pain sometimes on my cycles, so that's not really a pregnancy symptom for me, because sometimes, like about every other month, I get breast pain for whatever reason. But I noticed I wasn't, the morning sickness type thing, right? And so I had Googled my friend at the time, and she said, "Well, not everybody gets morning sickness." And I had, I'm sorry, I asked her about it, and she said, "Not everybody gets morning sickness. Not everybody's the same." And I was like, "Okay." And I Googled, and sure enough, they said that too, necessarily have morning sickness and stuff like that. But I still had the breast pain up until a point. Then I got attacked. I got attacked uh in my womb. I have to do another video to explain the attack, the types of attack. Now, these are types of attacks I've been getting for many years. It's spiritual. It's a spiritual demonic attack, right? And one night it happened 3 times. Usually when I get attacked at night, um by witches, you know, it'll happen like one time. Um, but this time it happened 3 times. 3 times in one night. It was like, Jesus. Every time I got to that, wake up and I pray, wake up and I pray, cancel, rebuke, renounce, denounce, everything. 3 times during the night. It like literally exhausted me. But I'm not gonna say I ain't think anything of it. It's just it's sad to say I'm used to it, right? Now I wasn't used to 3 times a night, but I was used to it. I just figured, what I'm saying, witches is mad now because all these years they've been trying to, what I'm saying, and it still happened. So that's why I ain't really dwell on it. Well, again, another week or so went by, and now I started having, this day was like August 15th, August 16th. A couple weeks later, I started having cycle symptoms. Again, I asked my friend at the time, and she said sometimes you have cycle symptoms. It'll feel like cycle symptoms when you're pregnant. I googled same thing, but for me, I don't typically. I'm sorry, excuse me. I don't typically cramp, like stomach cramp. I'll get like lower back cramps once in a while. It's not even every month. Once in a while, and I noticed I had them, right. And so again, you know, I mean, this is what we do. I, even though she said what she said, I still googled, but went to the bathroom and, didn't see anything, whatever. I just it is what it is. I was like, okay, well, it is what it is. I guess it's a cycle symptom. But then I did go to the restroom, and I hate to sound be graphic or whatever, but I looked at the tissue, and then I saw what I saw. And my friend at the time asked me to see it, and then I sent her a picture, and because she has 5 kids. Okay, so that was one of the reasons why I went to her and asked her a lot of stuff. And she said, no, you just spotting. Sometimes that happens, when you're pregnant, you spot. When I was like, okay. So I went back, used the bathroom again a little later, and then it was nothing no more. So I just took it like what she said. I was like, okay. And so then later on, though, I went to the ladies' room again in the evening. This time my husband was at work, and it was more blood than it was before. Enough that I had to put on like a liner. And so um I I got nervous then, and I started praying, and I was just like, um, just talking to God, and cleaned up and everything. And then I went to sleep that night. And then the next morning, it was enough that I needed like an actual sanitary napkin, right? By the time I woke up in the morning. So I called the doctor, my OBGYN. Well, it was the doctor. It wasn't her, it was the one on call. And I explained to him what was going on, and he instructed me to go to the emergency room. Now, this weekend was the weekend that my husband, like, I'm telling a lot. I mean, not that it's not private. It's just I'm just, bear with me. I'm just very vulnerable right now, right? Even thinking about it gets me emotional. My husband goes to see my bonus daughter every other weekend. He has custody over every other weekend. So this was his weekend to go see her. But I had to wake him up and tell him to take me to the emergency room. And I told him what was going on. And so we went, and they did a sonogram, ultrasound, and internal and external ultrasound. And long story short, the results came back that that the tech didn't see any see a pregnancy, and that my, I always want to say EKG, that is not the the pregnancy hormone levels. I don't know why I can't ever remember that acronym, but it's a G in it. So anyway, they were 67, and the doctor said it should be double that. So she instructed me to come back in a couple days and retest and see where they are then, so they can determine. And so when I got home, because the doctor that I had called on file, he said, call him back once I get home and what with the results. And so I told him, and he said, no, don't go back to the hospital, make an appointment with us, and you come into us, and we'll do it, and we'll take your blood and everything. And that's what happened. A couple of days later, I went into the office, the doctor's office. They took my blood. After I talked with her what was going on, they took my blood, and she called me back a couple of days later, and it was down to 15. The hormone levels were down to 15. Um, she wanted to rule out. I'm sorry if you hear people and dogs and stuff in the back. It's an alley behind me, y'all. Just bear with me. Um, she wanted me to come back again because she wanted to make sure to rule out ectopic pregnancy, which is when you're pregnant in your tube. She wanted to make sure that that wasn't the case, because if that was the case, then they would have to do other procedures. I might have surgery depending on what was going on. So I came back again a couple days later, and the hormone levels had went all the way down. She called me. The hormone levels went down to zero. It wasn't need for me to. It was ectopic pregnancy was ruled out. It was resulted in me no longer being pregnant, which the medical term is miscarriage. Now, this is because I know you're probably you've been waiting to hear all this to get to where I'm where um the witchcraft falls into place. So I had I'm an avid dreamer. My lord. My dreams are like Paramount motion pictures. I kid you not. They are like straight up movies. Like Universal Studios, you name it. Columbia Pictures, you name it. They are straight movies. But anyway, um I had a dream some months back that I went to the hospital. And I went to the hospital. I was supposed to be visiting somebody. Um and I went to sit down, and somebody that knew me or saw me said, I didn't know you were pregnant. And I looked back at them and I was like, I didn't know I was pregnant either. And I looked down in my belly, and it was like a bump, it was like a little bump there. Well, as soon as I sat down and I saw that, I looked across from me and I seen this girl I know, and I saw her mother, which is deceased now. I'm talking about these people I know in real life, right? I know her and her mother, right? Her mother is deceased now, and I know her. I saw them in a dream, and then they were just staring at me, right? They never spoke. I didn't speak. First of all, when I woke up, first of all, I was like, well, why the mother was there anyway? Because she dead in real life. So that was like, you know, but like I said, I just remember seeing them, right? And in the dream at the hospital, I had since somebody had pointed out I was pregnant, and I realized that I looked like I was pregnant. I went to go ask the nurse to can I take a pregnancy test. I took the pregnancy test, came back, and she said, you're definitely pregnant. That was that dream. Sometime later, I don't know if it was another month or two. I have all this stuff documented, like literally in my phone, because I try to record. If I'm not writing it down, I'm recording it by voice. Every dream that I know is significant that the Lord wants me to keep, and I'm glad I did, because that was me documenting my dream. That's why it's very important that you do that. Me documenting my dreams. The Lord helped me to go back and remember this, because I forgot these dreams. Okay, remember these key things I'm saying. I went to the hospital. Okay, when I was at the hospital, somebody recognized my pregnant belly. I looked down, saw a pregnant belly. I saw these two people that I knew sitting directly across, right? They never said anything to me. Keep that in mind. The hospital, and I took the pregnancy test, and I was positive. I mean, my pregnancy test was positive. A couple of months later, sometime later, some weeks later, I had another dream. Okay. This dream, I went to the OBGYN. As soon as I walked in the door, guess who I saw sitting there on the right hand side? Yep, you guessed it. The same girl I saw in the first dream. But this time she wasn't with her mother. It was just her by herself. Again, she stared, didn't speak to me. Now I know her. We were never friends, but I know her. She knows me. There's no doubt about it. We definitely know each other. Okay. I'm keeping certain, I'm not, I'm not expressing how we know each other for a reason, because listen, you know what I'm saying? You got to keep the witchcraft down. Okay. If the Lord allow me to expose her, then I will. But he ain't give me the green light for that yet, right? Just know that I definitely know her. This ain't somebody I'm making up. This not a random person I randomly saw in a dream. No, I know her, right? So I saw her again. And then I went to my doctor's appointment. Um, and then I don't even remember the rest of the dream, whatever. I just remember seeing her. So this time I had asked the Lord when I woke up, I said, okay, wh- why she in my dreams? Why do I keep seeing her in my dreams? And it's interestingly right around, you know, the pregnancy or some type of thing. I was going when I was going to the GYN. It was it was a pregnancy appointment. I'm sorry, you know what I mean. It was an appointment for the pregnancy, and I was like, why I keep seeing it? Why I keep seeing it? The Lord didn't say anything. Yeah, right. So now going back to now, you know that I'm no longer pregnant, right? The ultrasound showed that there's no pregnancy there. Now I knew by the grace of God, right? As my name is Tara Leanne Walker, that I was pregnant, right? I even felt different. I can't explain it. All you mothers out there, you know what I'm talking about. When you're pregnant, you know. It's like you just know, right? And well, like I said, I had got attacked, but I didn't even put two and two together to the attack until I wasn't pregnant anymore. So then I went home, I'm crying, I'm grieving, and I'm just like, God, like, why you make me wait this long? Why is the promise, okay, Sarah, but my name is Tara, okay? Why is it taking so long? You know what I'm saying? Why, there's nothing wrong with me. It's been nothing wrong with me. Like, there's nothing wrong with my husband physically. There's nothing wrong with me physically. Well, I can't get pregnant. Obviously, we know that now because I can get pregnant. But I never doubted that anyway, because but remember, I was still standing on the word from the Lord, and not just okay. Let me put this in here. I forgot to say this too. It wasn't just the word that she said. God confirmed for me. Okay, she prophesied, but then in 2016, I saw my child in a dream, right? And then in 2019, He gave us the name for the child. You see what I'm saying? So, because that's one thing God gonna do. He gonna confirm. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So, it wasn't just me because some of y'all might be thinking like, well, what if she was a false prophet? And I get that. Trust me, I get that, especially these days and times, right? Which she wasn't anyway, because she had a gift for that. God gave her a gift for speaking into married women, okay, specifically, of course, who were trying to conceive and whatever and hadn't gotten pregnant yet. She had prophesied to a couple of people in our church, and they had conceived and they had their babies and everything too, back then. But for me, I was still holding on to this to her word. But then God confirmed for me too. So I knew um we knew what we was having. God confirmed what we was having, gave us a name, everything. So like I said, I knew I was pregnant. We just was waiting for the 27th to do the because we even knew like I said, we know we were having. We was just waiting for the 27th to come so we can hear the heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? So but now as you see, I'm not pregnant anymore. So when I asked God, I was like, God, what happened? He brought me back to them dreams. God had completely forgot about it because it was a little earlier this year, right? There was some months ago. He brought me back to those dreams. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. I sat back just like I did like that. I was like, God, you gotta be kidding me. He brought me back to the dreams and the night that I got attacked. Remember I said I got attacked 3 times in one night? I was like, you mean to tell me this Bama put a spell on me? So God confirmed it's he didn't tell me exactly if it was her or if she went to somebody and paid them to do it, right? But he confirmed that it was her. That's why I was seeing her in my dreams, that she was the one that had to do with why I am no longer pregnant anymore, because I didn't pass anything, y'all. I did not because I've heard stories before of miscarriages when women say they go to the bathroom and something comes out, shower, something. Nothing. I didn't pass anything. I didn't, like, I literally never saw anything. You know what I mean? I just came when I had those back cramps. That was my cycle. That was my cycle. I came on, right? Like it just came back. Like it, it disappeared for a month and just came back out the blue, and and then I've had another one again since then. So when he showed me that, I was like, yo, when I tell y'all, witchcraft is so real, it's not even funny. I never knew, man, and the spirit of jealousy, right? I never knew how much jealousy this person had towards me until God revealed who it was and what happened. And even us telling, even me and my husband telling, because he understands, he knows witchcraft now too, but even us telling my mother-in-law, and I just told my mom the other day, a few days ago, um I don't even think it's like, if you've never experienced it or don't know that that's what it is, you're not going to understand it, right? If you come across this video and you never experienced witchcraft, you're not going to resonate, right? But my prayer, and the reason why I believe God, because listen, I'm doing this now. Today's what, September 28th, 2024. I'm giving this story now because God told me to wait to tell it. He said it's a certain time that I want you to release it, right? And let's be clear, let's be honest, I wasn't I wasn't running the social media to tell this, okay? I'm still like, I'm super vulnerable telling it now. But he said it's a certain time that I want you to release it. So today was the day. Today was the day. He told me earlier, he said, okay, today is the day that I want you to release this story. And so my prayer is that somebody or somebody's comes across this video and listen to my story. And I want you to understand that you were not crazy. You were not crazy. You were definitely pregnant. And I know they have to medically call it a miscarriage because that's the medical term. But some of you all did actually have miscarriage. You passed it. You passed something. You seen it. You know what I'm saying? You actually did have miscarriages. But some of y'all have a story similar to mine. You knew you were pregnant. You knew without a shadow of a doubt you were pregnant, and then you weren't pregnant no more. And whether yours was an attack in the middle of the night like me, or just some type of random attack that you don't know about, it could have came through food. I hear you, Lord. Some of you, you could have eaten something from somebody. Some of you, is not could have, you did. Some of you ate something from somebody, and the witchcraft came that way. Some of you drank something, the witchcraft came that way. That's why, especially in your dreams, if you eating and drinking. Let me sidebar real quick, because my little niece asked me this a few days ago. She asked me, she's like, what does it mean when you eating and drinking? And I had to tell her how to pray against um against that immediately. Because when you're eating and drinking in your dreams, the enemy wants you to come into a certain demonic covenant. And so yeah, but some of you all, it wasn't a dream. Somebody just my God in heaven. Some of you really need to pray about who you friends with, because some of you have eaten from a friend because you really thought that they were your friend, but that friend, because of the strong spirit of jealousy, put something in the food and served it to you. The friend, this is not even somebody that you don't know, this is somebody that you know. So if you come across, and this is what I prayed for, I asked God, I said, well, God, when you, okay, I know I feel like I know it sounds like I'm all over the place because I'm God downloading to me, and then I'm also remembering what he told me to tell you all. The reason when I prayed and asked him why it happened, he told me, because God don't lie. The promise is still gonna happen, right? The promise still stands, because God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. But he allowed this to happen to me because he wanted me. Remember, because I said I'm a voice for the voiceless. He wanted me to come on here and share my story for somebody out there who is watching me, whether you watch me today, tomorrow, or 2027 and watch this video. He wants me to tell you that it was definitely witchcraft. You are not crazy. You were pregnant, and there was a spell that was orchestrated for them for the first time you become pregnant, to take your baby from you. And that is what he wants me to tell you. But the promise still stands. You will still conceive. Okay, my husband and I will still conceive in his timing, whenever he's ready. And in that timing, not no witch, not no warlock, not no soothsayer, no voodoo priest, no voodoo priestess, no witch doctor, no what you calling people, um none of them people will be able to block what God has, right? God has in store. And so I was a little trippy at first because I was like, dang God, it felt it feel like, and I was trying to tell somebody this too. One of the friends at the time, I was like, man, sometimes it feel like I know I'm not the only one. Hear me when I say this. I know I'm not the only one. How many people on this earth? Okay. I know I'm not the only one that goes through these things, but sometimes it feel like it. Okay. And that person didn't really get what I was trying to say, but that's neither here nor there. You are somebody like me. You go through the strangest and wildest things. And it feels like at times, don't nobody else go through this type of stuff but you. But just understand, you are not alone. There is somebody else. I'm that somebody else that went through it. So I hope this helps you and encourages you. Um, to know you're not crazy. You're not crazy, sis. You're not crazy. Okay? It was absolute witchcraft. And God is going to deal, yes, Lord, I hear you. God is going to deal with those. If he ain't already doing it now, oh, it's coming. Best believe it, it's coming. I remember I said it on my video the other day. Them witches, especially them unrepentant witches, oh, they gonna get it, okay? And you will be vindicated. And the vindication could be your pregnancy, okay? So I want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that God loves you, and he didn't do that. He had nothing to do with that. Okay? Uh, um excuse me, I'm sorry. That was absolutely orchestrated. Oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. I forgot this one main part too. Guess what? He also told me that this spell that either like the person, like I said, either she did or she paid somebody to do, was put on me way back when I was married to my ex-husband. So this person could not stand me so much, even back then. Even though smiled in my face every time I saw him. That's what they do. Smile in my face every time I saw him. But they wanted so bad for me not to conceive. They put it on me way back then. I've been divorced from my husband. I'm sorry, excuse me, divorced from my ex-husband. Uh it was 2013. So it's been 11 years. It'll be 11 years the day after Thanksgiving this year, I think 27th of November. That was, you see what I'm saying? That was that long ago. That wasn't even for this marriage. It was for that. So it was already, the plan was already, the witchcraft was already set in motion for it to happen. It just didn't happen with the ex-husband, which is a story for another time. It couldn't happen with the ex-husband, but that's definitely a story for another time. But I hope this encourages you. I hope my prayer is that you feel better about your situation. My prayer is that you pray for your enemies, right? But you believe what God, you believe in, and stand on God's promise to you. Do not give up on what God said he's going to do. Like I said earlier, Sarah was 99, And that Bama laughed, okay? She was like, who? Okay, who pregnant? Who gonna get pregnant? And a year later, she conceived. And I'm not saying we're gonna be 99 out here in these streets when it happens, but know that God's promise still stands. And just be encouraged. Now, when I say, let me go back to pray for your enemies, I ain't saying pray for these unrepentant witches because they're unrepentant. No, okay? But I will say, if they are this, because I don't know anything about this person. I haven't even seen this person in over a decade. So, but they could be sorry now. They could be in a repentant state. And if they are, then that we are definitely supposed to pray for them. You know what I'm saying? Don't hold anger to that degree. Don't hold that, because God can't release your blessings with unforgiveness. Just know that you know what happened, okay? And they should know that you know now too. Um, and I hope you are encouraged, and know that it will still happen. And God loves you, and His promises are always yea and amen. Okay. I hope y'all was praying for me because that I know it was a lot, but I felt like the Lord wanted me to definitely be in detail with it also, be detailed with it also, because people need to know, you know what I'm saying? And people need to know that we ain't out here, when we talk about witchcraft and stuff, we ain't out here talking on the side of our necks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a real, real, real thing. And but God is all powerful, right? And He's all knowing, right? He knew what was gonna happen. My husband and I, we did our grieving. We cried. He cried when I told him, and it made me, because my husband, it takes a lot for him to shed a tear. He's not. I ain't gonna say he's not emotional, but he ain't like me. Like, I cried a drop of a hat, okay. But when he cried, I was like, Jesus, help us, God. But we got through it. We got through it. Actually, that same day that we told that I told him, that same day, he was standing in the kitchen cooking, and I was on the couch, and we was talking to each other, and he was like, "Babe, I got peace." And when I say that thing hit my soul, it hit my heart. Like, you know how they say you, when your heart dropped to your stomach, it hit my stomach, because he's been believing for us just as much as me. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't matter if he already had children or not. He's been believing for this pregnancy just as much as me. And so I hated to even come and tell him, and come and tell him what happened, and the result of why it happened too. I didn't want him to be, walk around in anger and stuff. But he said, I got peace. And when he said, I got peace, he was like, oh, we know it's still going to happen. And that was all I needed. You know what I'm saying? That was all I needed to even pick me up out of it. You know what I mean? And we went to bed that night in peace, and still do. Right. So I want you to go to bed tonight in peace. I hope this helps you. Please drop a comment and just say, I can relate. you know this ministry that God has given, this podcast, which is the ministry that God has given me, is called Receive and Relate, because He told me people will receive when they can relate. So I'm going to be coming on here and being more and more vulnerable, and share more and more stories, um so that you can relate and know that you're not alone in this world. Okay. um I also have a book. Oh, I'm in my office, so I got it. Yes, I have a book. I have a memoir that I have written called Cage Girl. And you talking about some stories, okay? That book has it's the stories of it's the first part of my life, okay? It's from childhood, 6 years old, basically, all the way to 18 when I graduated from high school. So this is part one, okay? God willing, part two will be out next year, but this is done. And I will put the link in the description box if you would like more stories. If you're a story time person like me, and you want to read more stories of things that I went through and gone through, this is the book for you. If you have experienced any type of childhood trauma, or know anybody, right? And this might not be for you, but it may be for somebody that any type of childhood trauma, in regards to any type of domestic violence, any type of molestation, any type of addiction, uh, um, with the result of masturbation or pornography or any type of bullying. This book you want to read or give to that person to read. Okay. And like I said, the link will be in the description box below. It's also in an ebook format for those of you who rather read digitally. I got you. And it's in the same link. Okay. So again, I hope you were able to receive because you can relate. Please come back for more story time. And I love you, but I want you to know that God loves you more. Okay. Till next time. Bye.